Okay, let's take you back now to one of the stories that has been dominating headlines since the weekend. A number of South Africans stranded in the Gulf countries have criticized what they call a lack of communication from government. It comes as US-Israeli and Iranian airstrikes continue with various countries in the Middle East affected. The International Relations Department is calling on the stranded citizens to contact their embassies to ensure they are registered. Well, a travel agency that's based in KwaZulu-Natal says it has managed to help bring about 150 South Africans back home, the majority who were on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem. Well, let's talk now to World of Travel CEO Irshad Malek, who talks to us now. Mr. Malek, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. How did you manage to get these 150 South Africans out of the Middle East, given that the airlines are effectively grounded?
Okay, good evening to you and to the listeners of Newzroom Afrika. Indeed, it was a daunting task and a challenging task, but however, we as the South Africans are quite, always like to embrace challenges. And these programs were based in Saudi Arabia rather than Jerusalem. So we had to obviously repatriate them from Saudi Arabia, namely the city of Medina and also the city of Jeddah. We managed to bring them out within the early hours of Sunday morning, and some of them on the eve of Saturday evening, through various African carriers that came to the party, namely Ethiopian Airlines, also the likes of the Egypt Airlines, and some of them we had to reroute them via other carriers through European countries, like the likes of Lufthansa Airlines, the likes of the other carriers like Turkish Airlines as well. Yeah. So in the brace of the early dawns of Saturday morning, when all hell broke loose and airspaces throughout the Middle East were shut down and no-go zones and no-fly zones, we obviously had to take it upon ourselves to initiate this with the pilgrims to retrieve them and to bring them back home and ensure that they are safe and secure and they are comfortable in their own space and own zones. Yes, it was challenging because we had people from the break of Saturday afternoon returning home. And then eventually we had them all returning back home to OR Tambo this morning. Some of them this morning, some of them on the eve of Sunday. So yes, there was a handful of 150 approximately that we ourselves independently had obviously brought back home. There were other colleagues of mine in the industry that also participated in the same process and also were quite proactive as well and returned those passengers back home as well.
Yeah. Just quickly before we end our conversation, we know tonight that the Emirates airline has once again started operating, but they say, and I quote, they are operating a limited number of flights. Are any of the people that have you been assisting going to be on board that flight? Because it does appear that they are actually going to be operating a strictly limited operation, because they even saying through their statement that people who will be on these flights are going to be contacted directly by Emirates, and therefore the advice is to not go to the airport unless you are notified.
Yes, indeed, that is going to be the case. Obviously, these airlines will have to work on, on case by case and treat it as how serious the cases are and clear these people out. Remember, Dubai is still a no-fly zone, so the authorities in Dubai are still waiting for the news to filter out in the Kingdom of UAE, and so likewise in the likewise would be the UAE other provinces like the likes of Etihad Airways as well. So the possibilities of Emirates resuming their fleet of full contingency will happen within the next 24 to 48 hours, or could be the next 36 or 22 hours as well. However, what I must mention to you is that we and the airlines are trying to do all possible to make this happen. Certain UAE airlines and Middle Eastern airlines have partnered with African carriers to bring the influx of people that would eventually have to come back home within the next 24 and 36 hours. We ask and request the public at large to be aware and to be rest assured that the airlines have your interests at heart as well. But you also got to keep in touch with the local authorities and the local airlines in the country that you are in to expedite the process of returning back home.
Irshad Malek, thank you very much indeed for your time.